Have you ever sat and thought about the things that you did in your 20s and maybe even your 30s as it pertained to getting into a relationship or getting married? I know I've done a whole lot of crazy stuff, and I'm sure you did too. But stay tuned to the end of this video where I'll highlight the things that I wish I knew about relationships in my 20s. Stay tuned. You are now tuned in to the Own Your Shit podcast here on YouTube. Now, I've had my fair share of relationships. Some were good, some were bad, but my ultimate goal was always marriage. Many of those relationships, all but one, failed. And now that I'm older and more mature, more responsible, I've seen that there are certain things that I should have never went through. I should have never put myself through a lot of things in order to get that ring, because it was pointless. So if I could talk to my 20-year-old self, this is what I would definitely say to her. And hopefully you can relate to this as well. So my first point, relationships are going to come and relationships are going to go. At the end of the day, there's no need to rush anything, because what's for you is for you. I think a lot of the times we spend a lot of our free time focusing on relationships and wanting to get married and wanting to get that ring, and we neglect every other part of ourselves. For me, I remember being so focused on getting married and having a family that I remember one day someone asked me, "Hey Melissa, what is it that you like to do with your free time? What are your hobbies?" And I had to stop and think about it, which is weird because usually you know the things you like to do. And then I realized I couldn't pinpoint what I really liked because I spent all my energy focusing on getting married, getting that ring, having kids, all that stuff. I would definitely tell myself that relationships are gonna be there. They're not going anywhere. The same zeal and passion that I had for relationships in my 20s never changed when I got to my 30s. So that's still gonna be there. People are still gonna be single when you're 25, 28, 30. The person who's for you will always be for you, and it doesn't matter if you find them in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, wherever. Just relax, take it slow, focus on you and the things that you love to do, and less time on finding that man or that woman. Point number 2, some relationships just won't last forever. As a product of a broken marriage, I know for a fact that some relationships don't last forever. But there was always this part of me that thought that I would be the exception. Whatever relationship that I'm in is going to last. That has always been the mindset. And I'm sure that's been the same for many of you as well. You focus a lot on being the perfect person for your significant other because the mindset is, okay, I have to make this last forever. Some relationships won't last forever, and it's okay. We have to learn to accept that when a relationship doesn't work, it doesn't necessarily mean that we failed. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. Sometimes it's an opportunity for us to really step back, do some introspection, and focus on what it is that we are truly passionate about. Some of these relationships that we're in or we're striving for suck the living life out of us. It takes away the essence of who you are. So sometimes you have to look at something that might be bad at face value as something really good. Point number 3, a relationship will not complete me. I wish that I could have understood this in my 20s. A relationship cannot complete you. Once I got to my late 20s, that's something that I started to preach heavily. Because we hear it all the time. You watch the reality shows, you watch the dating shows, and when these contestants in these shows are asked, why is it that they want a relationship? What is it that they're looking for? Almost unanimously, the response is, I'm looking for someone who can complete me. No one can complete you except you. And I'm gonna say that again for the people in the back. No one can complete you except you. Look at it this way. Let's just say that a significant other could complete you. What that would mean is, in the event that that relationship goes south, you guys don't work out, you guys break up, whatever portion of completeness or wholeness that that person brought to your life, they're going to take it with them when they leave. So then you're going to go back to not being complete. And then you're going to continue the cycle by finding someone else to complete you. And then it doesn't work out. They take their piece and you're broken again. And the cycle is just going to continue until you are complete within yourself. There's no relationship that's going to ever be enough for you. because the expectation is that this person that's coming in is going to fill a void that you can't fill. Now think about it this way. If you can't fill a void that's within you, why do you think that someone else who does not necessarily know every intricate detail about you, what makes you think that they will be able to complete you permanently? That's not how it works. So I tell people all the time, focus on you until you can be content with you, with who you are, with what you bring to the table, with what you offer, with who you are as a person. No one or nothing will ever be able to complete you. Point number 4, being single is not a curse. I wish I understood this in my youth. I used to see a lot of people around me in relationships and I would be jealous. I would be jealous because this friend was getting married, that friend met someone and they're in a relationship, and I was single and by myself and I felt worthless. But then time passed on and some of those relationships never lasted. For whatever reason, somebody cheated, somebody wasn't in love anymore, something happened, and these people were once again single. We got to understand that being single is not a curse. And we have to understand that being in a relationship is not for everyone. You might love the idea of a relationship, but you might be horrible at it. And the sooner you admit to yourself what you want, you may realize that being in a relationship is not really for you. And that's completely fine. Being honest with yourself is important because you don't want to lead someone on and cause more heartache and cause more toxic issues and all that stuff because you were not honest with yourself. We find that a lot of people are going into relationships with baggage, with toxic traits from previous relationships, hurt from previous relationships. And the expectation is that the person who you are now with should understand everything you went through in your past and not do anything to trigger you. No, that's not how you heal from hurt. I'm an advocate for therapy. I'm going to tell you to go get therapy every single time. But that's not what you need to do to get into a healthy relationship. You don't bring your hurt and your baggage from a previous relationship and put it in the lap of the new person you're with, expecting them to heal your hurt. Sometimes it's okay to just take a step back and be single. Learn to love yourself again. Learn to heal. Learn to just be who you are in your true essence. You don't always need to be with somebody. Point number 5, not every relationship leads to marriage. I used to just automatically think, okay, me and this person go together now, we're gonna get married. I know. I was doing a bit much, and I know I wasn't the only one because I remember some of my friends doing the same thing as well. We have to understand that dating is completely fine. It's an opportunity for us to get to know this person who we may have been attracted to for whatever reason. I think though that this particular issue for me kind of stemmed from the church because we were kind of taught if you're going to be dating, you date with the intention to get married. But the truth is sometimes you just need to date to see what's out there. You hear that popular saying now there's a lot of pee in the dating pool. It's true. I don't want anyone to feel like it's okay to permanently attach themselves to someone who they don't really know. Yes, your intent is to want to get married, and that's great, but you shouldn't automatically assume that because you're dating this person, it's going to lead to marriage. Just go out, enjoy yourself, have a great time, take it one step at a time. Point number 6, it's okay to say no. Not because you're in a relationship with someone means you got to tell them yes to everything. You guys are still two different individuals. You're still getting to know each other, and you don't have to please this person in every single aspect, especially if it's something that you honestly and wholeheartedly do not believe in. There is this underlying fear for many people that if they say no, then it's going to cause an issue in the relationship and the relationship is going to go bad and they're going to break up with me. That is problematic. And if that person is making you feel that way for not agreeing with everything they do or say, then that's not the person you need to be with. That's a form of manipulation. It's controlling, and it will not lead to any healthy marriage. Point number 7, who they were before they were married is probably who they're going to be after they get married. The misconception of, oh, he's going to change or I'm going to change her when we get married. No. It doesn't work that way. Granted, yes, people do change in marriage, But that's because they want to change, not because you're trying to change them, and not because you assume they're going to change. That never works out that way. So if the person that you're with has been exhibiting poor behavior while you were dating, while you were engaged, don't assume that they're going to change once you get married. A lot of women could kick themselves right now because they saw the signs and they made the assumption that they could make it work, and they got married and things went south. It's easier to walk away from this entire process before you walk down the aisle. So when you see those flags, pay attention. And if you need to walk away, walk away. For the people who saw the flags and still went into the relationship, it's still not too late. If something is not good for you, if it's sucking the life out of you, if it's become poisonous to you, to who you are, it's time to walk away. Point number 8, heartbreak won't last forever. And I know we've all been through this one. We've all shed a tear or two for the guy or for the girl who hurt us. For many of us, we became callous and we started treating people in new relationships poorly because of the hurt that we experienced in our past relationships. And that's completely unfair. Take the time, as I said before, to heal. Take the time to mend your broken heart. It's okay to feel heartbroken after a relationship. It's normal. Don't neglect your emotions. Go through the feelings. Feel the feels. It's completely fine. Just don't stay there. Once you finish grieving, it's time for you to get up and keep moving. You can't stay down forever. Just remember that. Point number 9. And this one might be a bit controversial. Being tied down in your 20s takes away the opportunity for you to really get to know you. There's so many people who got married in their 20s and their relationship worked out. It's great. They're in a great place now. But I can almost guarantee that many of them had struggles within their 20s because they were trying to find themselves. They were trying to identify who they were. Once they found out who they really were, they noticed that their values no longer aligned with the values of their spouse, which in turn caused their marriage to end. So don't run it down too much. Don't chase after it. Get to know yourself. Get to know what you like. And I know you probably feel like, oh, I know myself. I've been with me since day one. That's true, but you're still growing. You're still evolving. You're still learning. And until you have that solid foundation in who you are, I would recommend not jumping into a marriage right away. But again, to each his own. If that's what works for you and that's what floats your boat, do what you got to do, boo. But for my people out there who feel like they have to get married in their early 20s or wherever, just think about it. Are you ready for marriage? Are you ready for that commitment? Are you ready for the sacrifice that comes with it? Are you ready for the compromise? Are you ready to learn how to communicate effectively with your partner? Are you ready to deal with the ups and downs that come with relationships? Are you ready to accept the fact that you may not always be right and there are times where your partner will be wrong and things might not go as smoothly as you want it to go? Are you ready for that? And there's so much more that I can talk about. But the point of all of this is to embrace you. Embrace who you are. Embrace the things that you love. Find a hobby. Spend time with you. Spend time with God. Spend time with your friends. Spend time with your family. And just get to know you. I like to keep it short and sweet so you can absorb everything. So I want us to continue talking about this in the comments. What are some other things that you think you wish you had known in your 20s about relationships, about marriage? Let's go ahead and talk about it in the comments. Until we meet again, take care. Well, that's all, y'all. Thanks for tuning in this week. If you haven't already, please subscribe and leave a review for the show. It helps a whole lot. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at MelissaTWalker_ and use the hashtag OYS podcast for more great content.